Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
A group of young people known for causing trouble in town all had a story to tell about 20-year-old Joshua Wade. They saw Joshua with blood on his hands. They heard Joshua brag about beating, raping, and killing 33-year-old Della Brown, whose body was found on Saturday, September 2nd, 2000. They joined Joshua to gaze at the horrible sight of Della lying dead, bloody, and half-naked in a shed. They testified that Joshua hated Alaskan Native women like Della. But nobody actually saw Joshua commit the crime, and prosecutors were missing direct physical evidence to tie him to the murder.
There was a fingerprint found in blood at the crime scene. We tested it. It's not Joshua Wade's. It's not Ms. Brown's. Hairs were collected at the crime scene. They're not Joshua Wade's hairs. Fibers were collected from the crime scene. There's no connection between the fibers and Joshua Wade. The police searched Joshua's home thoroughly, found nothing connecting him to the homicide, and they searched his car thoroughly, and again found nothing connecting him to the homicide.
Today, we'll get into the rest of the trial testimony from when Joshua Wade went to trial for Della's murder in 2003. Some of it is quite contentious, and the conclusion might not be what you think. And then we'll tell you about another shocking crime that might just leave you stunned. This is Jillian in partnership with Law and Crime. You are listening to Court Junkie, episode 252, part 2. One of the state's very important and very complicated witnesses took the stand, Timothy Beckett. With little physical evidence to tie Joshua Wade to the crime scene, authorities hadn't found any DNA, fingerprints, or semen belonging to Joshua. The state's case relied heavily on witness testimony like Timothy's. Joshua's friends and acquaintances were crucial in the state's case because they said Joshua talked openly about hurting Della. Timothy, for instance, testified that Joshua bragged about killing this cat and that he killed this bitch. As you heard in part 1, Timothy also later on secretly recorded Joshua on a court-approved wire and got him talking about Della's murder. But according to the defense, Timothy had a reason to want to cooperate. He wanted a deal to help solve his own legal problems because he had been convicted of robbery and was awaiting his sentencing. Timothy's criminal past was no doubt another headache for prosecutor Mary Ann Henry as she tried to win a conviction against Joshua in what was already a tough case. Timothy testified that he had only met Joshua in September 2000. He described how he spent the days before Della's body was found, working on his friend's car in the shop. He recalled Joshua coming in with blood all over his clothes and on his hands. The group had ordered some food. Joshua claimed the red he had gotten on himself was spaghetti sauce and tried to clean himself up. Timothy said he didn't believe him. He thought it was blood. Throughout the course of those few days hanging out in the car shop, Timothy at one point found himself in a car running an errand with Joshua and a few others. He recalled stopping at a shed.
Josh just got out the car real quick, ran up to this shed, came back to the car, opened the back door, and threw a shovel on my lap.
So you are in the back seat?
Yeah, I was in the back seat. My girlfriend was sitting next to me.
And Jesse, I take it was in the front seat then?
Passenger seat.
Or passenger front seat, okay. Did the defense say anything when he Threw the shovel on your lap?
No, he just threw it on my lap. Got in the car.
Okay. Was there any conversation in the car as you were driving then about the shovel?
I asked him what was up with the shovel.
You asked the defendant what was up?
It was a snow shovel. I didn't quite understand what he was doing with the snow shovel. Why he was trying to jack a snow shovel.
Okay. So did you ask him about it?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said he just killed his cat with it, that's all.
Did you ask him what he meant by that?
I asked him, not at first. It took a second to click into my head what he said. And then I asked him what he meant by cat. Like, did he mean cat as in person or cat as in an animal?
And did he respond?
Yeah, him and Jesse laughed.
They laughed?
Yeah.
Did he say where he beat the cat?
Later he said he beat the cat with the head, on the head.
On the head?
In the head, face, head area around there. Can't remember specific words, but the head.
He said they stopped at an apartment building across the street from his dad's trailer park. Joshua told him he didn't want the shovel anymore and to get rid of it, so he threw it.
Jumping ahead just a bit, when you talked to the police later on and told them about this shovel, did you show them where you had tossed the shovel?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And was the shovel still there? Do you remember?
It wasn't there, no.
Okay.
It wasn't in it. Somebody picked it up.
All right. Do you know if they actually seized the shovel, though, eventually?
Yeah, they seized the shovel.
Okay. He was asked if, while at the shop over the course of those days, he ever overheard Joshua making any other comments.
I heard him talking about how he said he killed her. Him and Jesse were arguing about killing. He said he killed his bitch. That's all he said. That's all I could overhear him saying.
The defendant said this?
Josh said that to Jesse.
Okay, to Jesse. And they were arguing.
Yeah.
All right. And that was the first night?
That was the first night.
Now, over the next couple days, did the defendant talk to you directly?
Yeah, pretty much.
And do you remember what he said?
I just remember talking about killing the girl, that he killed her.
Okay.
I can't remember the specific words that he said, because it's not been the topic on my mind for the last 2 years. But pretty much he just got in to tell me how he killed her with a rock. He smashed her head in, stuff like that.
Do you remember what he told you about where he had seen this person?
Yeah, he said she was walking around.
Okay.
And then later he went back. She was, yeah.
Did he say why he went back?
He was going to go jack her. He was going to go jack her.
What's that mean to you?
He's going to go rob her, so to speak.
All right. And then did he continue to tell you what happened when he went back to rob her?
I guess she was passed out on the ground.
Pardon me?
She was passed out on the ground.
Uh-huh.
And then he went to go pocket check her, and she pissed on herself, and he got piss on his hand.
And so the defendant got urine on his hands?
He got urine on it from putting his hand in her pocket.
And this is the defendant telling you all this?
Yeah, it's Josh telling me.
All right. Did he say what he did when he realized he had urine on his hands?
Just got pissed off, started kicking her ass, I guess.
Okay.
Beating her.
And beating her?
Mm-hmm.
Did he say if he used anything besides his feet?
At one point in time, he said he was smashing her head in with a rock.
I'm sorry?
He said he was hitting her with a rock.
Okay. In the head?
Yeah. Smashing her head in with a rock.
All right. And he told you that directly?
Yeah.
Timothy testified that at one point he was alone with Joshua. They were walking to a nearby business to order food and use a payphone. That's when Joshua said he wanted to show Timothy something. They were right by the shed. So he said, I want to show you something. Come here. And you walked over to the shed? All right.
I wasn't really too eager to go, but I went over there with him.
Why weren't you too eager to go?
It's kind of dark, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go over there.
I'm sorry?
It's kind of dark. Wasn't really trying to go over there.
Okay. So you went over there anyway?
Yeah.
How far did you get?
It's about to right before the door.
Did he ask you for any help?
It's kind of hard. I looked down, and when I looked down, I saw her body laying right there, and he's pointing at the ground and just asked me to help him move something. I don't know what it was he's trying to get me to help him move, but he's pointing down and asked me to help him move something.
All right. Now, do you remember how much of the body that you saw?
Just the top half.
Okay.
up, like from the chest up, pretty much. It was dark, and the only light that I saw come through there was either the moon or the street light.
Okay. And he asked you to help him move something. What did you do?
Just turned around and walked away, pretty much. Walked away.
All right. Could you see any injury to the body, the part that you did see?
Her head was just blood, man. Just blood on her head.
Okay. You're indicating to the side of her face. Is that what?
Her whole head was like smashed, man. It was just smashed. Her face was bloodied up. Yeah, it was pretty nice.
He was asked if Joshua said anything to him after they left the shed.
I can't remember the exact words, but pretty much, just to keep my mouth shut.
Okay. Or did you say any more than that, than just keep your mouth shut?
Pretty much keep my mouth shut, or I get killed too, pretty much. So I can't remember the exact words that was said. That was 2.5 years ago. So, but I took it to the fact where if I started talking, then I'd be next too.
Did you take that seriously?
Yeah, I took the whole thing seriously.
Timothy said he stayed quiet. He didn't even tell his girlfriend. Then he caved and called Crime Stoppers several weeks later. Investigators interviewed Timothy on September 26, 2000. The jury listened to a recording of that interview. Timothy was widely inconsistent, jumping from one story to another, according to the Anchorage Daily News. I'm going to read part of an article written by journalist Sheila Toomey. She described Timothy's police interview like this, quote, "Here he sits in a badly lit interrogation room, sprawled in his chair, approximating relaxation, the bill of his hat turned sideways in proper gangsta fashion, talking a mile a minute and contradicting himself in every paragraph, mixing Jerry Seinfeld syntax with a delivery like Eminem on Downers. He came up, hey, I killed this girl, yada, 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 and I go berserk on him," is one description of Joshua confiding in him. Frustration is evident in the voices of off-camera police officers trying to pin Timothy down to a single story. They tell him, "Don't say what you think we want to hear. You won't get in trouble if you admit there were drugs. Just tell us the truth." Timothy offers them options. Either he saw Della Brown's body only from the chest up, or he saw her legs were spread. He quotes Joshua admitting the murder 2 days before Della was last seen alive. On one car trip, he's the driver, but he's also in the back seat. He explains how he wasn't drinking because he had to drive. Then he attributes his memory problems to being drunk. During the interview, investigators had a question for Timothy. Did he have anything to do with Della's death? No, never, nothing, Timothy answered. Joshua's defense team argued that Timothy did have something to do with Della's death. He might be the killer. They also argued that Timothy was cooperating with authorities and blaming Joshua in order to get out of any punishment he might otherwise face for his own crimes. Timothy agreed to wear a court-approved wire, and along with another man, they picked up Joshua. On the front seat of the car was a daily newspaper with a front-page story about Della's body being found. The story included her picture. The two men pointed it out to Joshua to get him talking. The jury listened to the mumbled recording where male voices can be heard laughing, swearing, and talking in the secretly recorded conversation. According to the official transcript, Joshua said, that's her, right there. Found her September 2nd, Spinard Shed at 32nd and Dorbrandt. That's her. If they were smart, they'd find my condom wrapper. I never told anybody that I raped that lady. I threw up afterwards, man. Here's a portion of the recording, although I must warn you, it's difficult to make out the words.
September 2nd, or that bitch? Spinard Shed at 32nd and Dorbrandt, that's her. Well, you making the papers, dog. Oh, yeah? That's that bitch. Them niggas ain't got nothing on nobody. What you talking about? Man, you know the police are too stupid up here, man, anything? Yeah, right. If they're smart, they find my condom wrapper. What? Hey, you never told anybody that I raped that lady. Hey, I don't want to know that shit, man. I never raped nobody. I ain't trying to hear shit, man. Don't tell me shit.
Timothy had told investigators that he believed Joshua killed Della sometime between Monday of that week and Wednesday. That did not match with the timeline presented during the rest of the trial. Della's neighbor and good friend, who you heard in part 1, saw her alive on Thursday night as the television show ER played around 9:30 p.m. By early Saturday morning, 3 a.m., police had found Della's dead body in the shed. Under cross-examination, the defense brought up Timothy's questionable timeline of events. "I'm not good at dates," Timothy said.
So I'm not asking dates. I'm asking sequence of events, days of the week.
My days consist now of Thursday through Wednesday. I couldn't tell you what happened Tuesday, so you want to give me a day, a more specific time, I might be able to help you out a little bit. Till then.
Do you remember what day the police found the body, what day of the week?
I remember it was being told it was Saturday.
Saturday. Well, all right. And so you're saying, I take it, that Josh showed you the body on Friday. Is that correct? The day before the police were at the scene. Is that what you're saying or not?
It was either the day before or the day before that. It was either Thursday or Friday. I can't recall.
Could have been Thursday as well as Friday.
Could have been either Thursday or Friday. I don't recall.
There was a tense back and forth. Joshua's attorney jumped on the discrepancies Timothy had made in his police interview and in his direct testimony. He read the police interview transcript out loud.
Bottom of page 18. I saw a dead lady laying, just sprawled out on her back, with her legs spread open, and her just laying there bloodied up like someone just took a metal bar to her face and had a heyday. That's what you said on the video. Right. And is that more accurate?
I can't recall, man. I can't remember. Right now, all I can remember is seeing the dead body on the ground. That's all I can remember.
You can't remember if you saw her legs spread open?
Do you think I sit here and contemplate and that's something I want to think about and keep picturing in my head?
See, Mr. Beckett, I'm not going to answer a single question you ask because I have to ask you the question. So I'm
answering your question.
My next question for you, Mr. Beckett, is this. If you didn't see the lady with her legs spread open, why would you have told that to the police?
I don't recall.
And then they asked if she had clothes on or was she naked. You said it was too dark for me to say, really. I think she didn't. I don't think she had her pants on. I'm not too sure, correct?
That I couldn't testify to that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to testify.
Why did you think that?
Again, I'm not going to testify to that because I ain't got no proof. I can't say I did or didn't.
But why did you think it?
Because I thought it.
Maybe from something you heard?
Could have been. I don't know. I mean, your client did tell me he raped a woman, so maybe, yeah.
So you say, Mr. Beckett. So you say.
Perhaps the most explosive part of Timothy's testimony happened in the courtroom after the jury had been dismissed. Let me lay a little background here. Another charge Joshua was facing was tampering with a witness for threatening Timothy before he testified in front of the grand jury. Timothy and Joshua were housed in the same jail as Joshua's trial began and Timothy awaited sentencing on federal robbery convictions. Timothy accused Joshua of making threats against him, and that's why Timothy had stayed in protective custody behind bars.
Are you claiming that Mr. Wade has made threats to you since September the 2nd?
Yeah, I am. Okay. I'm also telling you that because of that punk ass over there, no matter what prison I go to, I got to stay in a hole like the last year and a half I've been doing sitting in a hole. Yeah, so what else you want to say? What else you want to know?
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Beckett. Get it all off your chest.
No, I'll wait for
you. Go ahead. Who have you reported these threats to?
Why the hell you think I sit in a hole?
Who have you reported the threats to?
DOC knows about it.
They know that Josh Wade has threatened you?
Yeah. Or how about the time when I'm sitting in my Bravo mind, your man come over there and kick my door? Kick them out door, I'm on center sign. Or how about the time the U.S. Marshal sat there and heard him say snitches get stitches? Wait till you go to Fedland. There's people waiting for you. The U.S. Marshal told him to say that.
Good. There should be reports on that then, right, Mr. Beckett?
Hey, your man killed somebody and raped a woman, and I got to sit in a hole, all right?
Mr. Beckett, I think you're the one that killed her.
I know you do, and you can miss me with that.
And I think you sent your buddy Danny out on a hunting trip after it happened.
This is way beyond voir dire.
You show me
hold on. I think we can excuse the witness and figure out how to deal with the situation.
Journalist Sheila Toomey described Timothy's outburst in the courtroom. Joshua, quiet at his seat, was grinning. When Timothy was taken out of the courtroom, Timothy shouted, "You think it's funny? We'll dance, bro." To the judge, the defense argued there was no proof that Joshua had threatened Timothy while in jail.
This witness's real problem is he's looking guiltier and guiltier for the murder of Della Brown. And after watching himself and his shameful display in trying to get a story straight with the police, apparently decided to do something about it.
We all know what the story is. What do you want me to do? The judge asked. The defense said that the prosecution should talk to Timothy and order him to not pull that crap again, and that the judge should read him the riot act. They said Timothy's lawyer should talk to Timothy too.
And then all three of you who have some power over this witness, and I have none except to forfeit my client's right of confrontation. I mean, what I can do to stop him from doing it again is to stop asking questions. I would ask that we try first.
The jury had been out of the room during the outburst, but they still heard the defense's cross-examination attempting to rip Timothy on.com/court and enter our code COURT for 30% off at checkout. 23-year-old Jesse Ackman liked cars and picked up laborer gigs. Jesse, another one of the state's witnesses, had known Joshua Wade for 7 or 8 years. The two were once close. They were occasional roommates, with Joshua sometimes staying at Jesse's trailer. In September 2000, Jesse's car had a bad fuel pump and got towed to the car shop. Jesse wasn't in a hurry to leave. He tinkered with cars, helping out over the next few days while his own car was there. There was a lot of alcohol and a whole group hanging out, including Timothy Beckett, Joshua Wade, some other men, and some of their girlfriends. They were in and out of the car shop over several days, and that's when Jesse said they saw a woman, Della, practically lying in the road.
Josh, he had kind of made it jokingly, run her over or whatever, and then he stopped and he said that he wanted me to get out and drag her off the side of the road. And then I told him I won't say the words I said, but basically, screw you. I'm not going to do that.
So then what happened?
He told Dwayne to do it.
Okay.
So.
And what did Dwayne do?
Dwayne got out and pulled her off the side of the road. The defendant said he was going to come back and pocket check her.
Okay, what's pocket checker mean?
Like, see if she has any money in her pockets.
Okay. That wasn't done
any valuable goods. Huh?
That wasn't done at that time. He said he was going to come back later and do that?
Mm-hmm, yeah, he said he was going to come back later and do that.
Okay.
That was his excuse, why pull her off the side of the road.
He said she was pretty unconscious, and it looked like she had sat on something wet. He said they all made fun of that. An hour passed. They returned to the shop, but Jesse testified that then Joshua left.
When you saw him come back, did you notice anything about him?
Yeah, he was acting kind of strange.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about what it was that was so strange?
He's acting really strange. He was breathing really heavy, and he had this, really adrenaline rush, and he had a white t-shirt in his hand, and he was rubbing it like this, and it had red all over it, and he was just pacing back and forth with this, like, adrenalized rush to, like you're high or something,
Okay. Now, you said that he had a T-shirt that he was wiping his hands on?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the T-shirt he was wearing or another one?
I don't know where it came from. A white T-shirt.
Okay. But, I mean, he didn't have it on and he was wiping it while he was wearing it?
No, it was off.
Okay. And you said you saw something red. Could you tell what it was at that point?
I can speculate.
All right. Well, we don't want you to speculate, but at the time, could you tell if it was like spaghetti or blood, or you just couldn't tell?
Well, yeah, I thought it was blood.
You thought it was blood?
Yeah.
Okay. I take it you didn't get a real good look at it.
No, I did get a good look at it.
Okay.
I mean, he's right there.
Okay.
He testified that Joshua continued to go in and out of the car shop.
He'd come back and he'd leave, and then he'd come back, and then he'd say he had hit her with a rock, and then he would say that the bitch was tough and she just wouldn't die. And then
now, was this all at the same time he said all of these things, or?
No, he was like trying different things to kill her, I guess.
Okay.
And, he'd leave and go get a different weapon and try that one on her. I heard him many times repeatedly say, the bitch is tough. She doesn't want to die. The bitch won't die.
What did he say he did with the knife?
And he said he slit her throat multiple times.
And let's see. And you said that he had like a small knife that you keep on a keychain.
Yeah.
Did you actually see that knife? Or?
Yes, I did, with the blood on it, and it was just like a little it looked just like a carpet cutter.
All right. And did he say what he used the rock to do?
He said he was beating her face and beating her head in.
Jesse stayed on the stand for hours, and the defense was relentless during their cross-examination. Jesse reacted angrily.
Mr. Ackman, yesterday, after you finished testifying to the jury, you were walking out here going around the prosecution table, and you said something to the effect of making us all look bad. Who were you talking about?
I was just talking to myself, I guess.
Okay, you were talking to yourself, not to the prosecution table?
I don't know. I was just
Well, who was
talking out loud.
Who was making you look bad?
I was just thinking out loud.
Just thinking out loud. About who? Or what?
I was just angry. Talking out loud, I guess. Thinking.
Well, the word you used was us, which really caught my attention. Making all of us look bad. You mean you, the prosecutor, the police department?
Well, if you really must know, your client has drugged me and a bunch of people through a bunch of unnecessary stuff.
Joshua's attorney probed into Jesse's substance abuse issues and criminal past. Jesse mumbled on the stand, his words slurred. He didn't always seem confident. At times, he almost sounded bored, other times defiant and exasperated. According to the Anchorage Daily News, Jesse dressed informally to court one day in baggy jeans and a zipper jacket. They wrote, "He slouched so completely in the witness chair that he seemed in danger of sliding off." Defense attorney Jim McComas at one point asked the judge to order a breathalyzer test because he said he smelled alcohol on Jesse. The results of the breathalyzer were 0.0.
Have you had a substance abuse problem in your life?
Yes.
From when till when?
When I was younger, I had a substance abuse problem I went to treatment for.
From when till when?
I don't know.
What age did you start abusing substances, Mr. Ackman?
When I was about 13, I guess. I don't know.
Around 13?
Yeah, about 13.
What kind of substance abuse?
Alcohol, weed. That's about it.
Inhalants?
Inhalants? Yeah, I did some inhalants when I was younger. Not
even younger than 12 or 13?
No, I don't think so.
Around the same age?
Yeah, it was about that.
Remember your parents finding 150 baggies?
Objection, relevance.
I'll permit that question.
150 baggies containing paint in your garage on one occasion?
My garage, those weren't, no.
Where did they find 150 bags, sir?
150 bags? Where do you get this from? No, that's no.
That's not correct. Let me see if I can get your memory.
You're on my page.
Yes.
When did you stop using marijuana?
I don't know. Never really stopped using marijuana.
You're still using marijuana?
Not in a while, but yeah, sometimes I do smoke weed.
And when did you stop drinking alcohol to excess?
I still drink alcohol.
To excess?
If I wanted to, yeah. There's no law against that.
He was asked how often he would drink to the point where it distorted his idea of what was going on back in 2000.
Give us your best estimate.
I don't have an estimate for that. I don't know.
Often?
No, not often. Whenever, like weekends, whenever. Just every once in a while.
52 of those in a year, right, sir?
52 what?
Weekends in a year.
In a year.
Okay.
So just because I say on weekends or...
Hold on, Mr. Eckman. There's not a question. Mr. McCollum, you may ask your next question.
Thank you, Judge. And do you remember the police asking you questions on September 29 in your long statement about your condition at the time you said you saw Josh Wade wiping his hands on his shirt? And the question was on page 27, in the middle. And this is the first time he comes back after you guys return to the shop. And you say, I think it was, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if it was the first or second time. Like I said, I was there and my focus, I was working on a car, you know. Question, sure. And also I'd been drinking the whole night. And I wasn't like drunk or anything, but you know, I mean, it still distorts your whole idea of what's going on. And there's, you know, over there at the shop, there's always people in and out. Is that what you told the police?
You have it on paper, is it? Yeah, I'm pretty, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
The defense continued to point out inconsistencies in Jesse's statements and questioned why his story grew more and more detailed as time went on. In front of the grand jury and to the police, Jesse hadn't previously brought up that Joshua had a bloody knife, something he was saying now, or that Joshua had intended on robbing Della, or that Joshua had a shovel in the car.
Okay, let's talk about your first statement to the police. Okay, because you didn't tell them anything about seeing any blood, did you, on the knife?
I don't know. There's a lot of things I didn't tell them in my first statement.
Let's talk about when you testified in the glass warrant hearing, and Ms. Henry was asking you questions there 2.5 years ago. You testified that you assumed he used the Stanley knife because he said he cut her. And you knew that he carried a Stanley knife. So that you just assumed that that's what he used. That's what you said under oath, isn't it?
I don't know.
Jesse argued that he hadn't been asked the full story before.
No, I don't think anyone asked me. There's so many things that were said and done. And there's only so much time to tell. Lots of things don't come up.
I would have thought that would be pretty memorable, wouldn't it, Mr. Ackman?
There's lots of things that are pretty memorable.
In another tense exchange, Joshua's attorney asked,
now that your memory has gotten so clear, Mr. Ackman, tell this jury exactly what you claim Joshua Wade told you about a rock. Exactly, with your clear memory.
He had just been saying in the garage that he was that the bitch wanted to die, and that
about the rock, sir.
Yeah, I'm getting to that, no. Sir.
Hold on. Go ahead. You can complete your answer.
Yeah, it's part of the question or the answer.
You can complete your answer.
Thank you. Okay. Like I was saying, he was saying that the bitch wouldn't die. And he was trying different methods of killing her, okay? slitting her throat, beating her face in with a rock, a shovel.
Answer.
With a rock, a shovel.
Right.
That is the answer.
Right.
That is the answer.
I'll move this way. We're just focusing in on the rock itself, just the rock. Do you recall what he said about the rock?
Yeah, he was trying to beat her skull in with a rock. Yeah.
Am I the one on trial here? Jesse asked at one point.
There's a word for testifying falsely under oath, isn't there, sir?
Perjury?
That's the word.
Like you did the other day?
Things got even worse for the prosecution. Jesse caused a disturbance outside the courtroom and said he didn't want to testify further. He tried to leave the courthouse. In front of the judge with the jurors outside, Detective Timothy Landis explained that Jesse had been angry that the defense kept bringing up his substance abuse issues from when he was younger. He eventually calmed down and came back. The prosecution blamed the defense for deliberately violating a court order and bringing up Jesse's abuse of inhalants. With the jury back in the courtroom, the battle between Jesse and Joshua's attorney continued.
Going back to something we talked about earlier, Mr. Ackman, when you were having your angry episode here outside of the court, and you were saying things to Detective Landis and Ms. Henry, is one of the things you said that essentially you were going to leave, you weren't going to testify anymore?
Are you asking me? Or are you telling me?
Didn't I just ask you, sir?
I don't know, did you? I didn't hear you.
When it was their turn, the defense called Sean Rompre, who at the time of the murder was an Anchorage police officer working the swing shift on the west side of town. Hours after Della's body had been found, Officer Rompre was called out around 6:30 p.m., responding to a disturbance call. It led to Jesse getting pepper sprayed and arrested. Officer Rompre testified that Jesse was passed out in a car parked inside of a garage belonging to somebody who didn't want him there. Jesse was so drunk, he couldn't respond to the police officer's commands. And so Officer Rompre tried to wake him up by using pressure points. Jesse slowly came to. He said he asked Jesse to leave the property 5 times. He then tried to physically guide him out of the car, but Jesse kept pulling away. He made a fist and was very tense. Jesse told him he better call another unit. Jesse then got pepper sprayed. Officer Rompre arrested him for trespassing and resisting arrest. Jesse, whose face was injured, the officer said the injury happened before he found him, was taken to the jail. A month later, Officer Rompre recognized Jesse again on another call. He was the passenger in a stolen car.
Did Mr. Ackman say anything to you about his role as a witness in this case?
He did mention it.
What did he say?
He just mentioned that he was a witness in a big case.
All right. Did he use any detectives' names?
He mentioned a detective, but I cannot remember what the detective was.
All right. And did it appear to you that he was using that in a way to seek to avoid being arrested himself?
He made it well known at that point.
Officer Rompre, on October 28th, the very late hours of October 28th into the morning of October 29th of the year 2000, did you have contact with 2 men, an Ian Beckett and a Daniel Troxel?
I remember as Timothy Beckett.
Right. Okay, Timothy Beckett. All right. And what was the source of the contact with these 2 men?
Responded to a call of a brandishing at the McDonald's at Arctic and Benson. Somebody brandished a firearm.
Okay. And when you say brandishing, what does that mean?
Time up here for brandishing would just be waving it around.
Now, during your contact with Mr. Beckett and Mr. Troxel, did they say anything about being witnesses in a murder case?
I didn't have contact with Mr. Troxel. I had contact with Mr. Beckett.
All right.
He didn't specifically say a murder case, but he said he was a witness in a case.
All right. And did he ask you to call a detective to confirm that?
He gave a detective's name at that point also.
All right. And was he, did it appear to you that he was doing that to avoid being arrested himself?
To me, yes, it was.
The state, without their lead prosecutor, who by now had dropped out of the trial because she was sick, began their closing arguments. Giving them was Assistant District Attorney Marcelle McDaniel. It was reportedly her first murder trial. She told the jury that Joshua Wade had confessed to killing Della to 7 people. She listed all of their names, which included Timothy Beckett and Jonathan McCune, whose testimony you already heard. She also listed all the people Joshua had shown the body to. Joshua was openly a killer, according to the prosecution. She dismissed the defense's theories that somebody else had committed the crime. Could Della's boyfriend have done it? Yes, their relationship was alcohol-infused and dysfunctional. But Rudy would have killed Della at home, she said, also arguing Rudy seemed to genuinely care for Della in the only way he was capable of. What about Gregory Poindexter, the serial rapist of Alaskan Native women? Della had been apparently seen walking with a black man before she died, which matched Poindexter. But according to McDaniel, he hadn't been observed in the area. Timothy Beckett also knew Poindexter from jail and said the black man wasn't him. The defense began their lengthy and passionate closing arguments, questioning the timeline of events, when Della died, and also questioning the state's witnesses.
The police used the day the body was found as a frame of reference. It's not that hard to try to put a date, but these dates can't possibly be true. It couldn't have happened that way. We know from Steve Lupian and from Mr. DePeace that Ms. Brown was alive and well on Thursday night. And probably what did happen is just what the credible witnesses said. Josh was there one night, a Friday night. He got bored and he went out, or maybe even on his way over there, he went to smoke a joint in the shed. He stumbled on Ms. Brown's body, which was long dead, on Friday night. And being bored and being 20 and certainly not believing that anything like this could ever happen, he decides to tell this story. And the story gets passed around and exaggerated and embellished by the garage gangsters until we end up here. But at the end of the day, there is not one shred of physical evidence, not a bit of forensic evidence, and no recorded confession, as the state now concedes. Nothing but the versions of the tales Josh supposedly told to impress, to intimidate, to yank the chain of all these guys in the garage. But that is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
She said, when the physical evidence excludes Joshua, shouldn't the confession be wholly reliable and corroborated?
Who put his hand in her blood at the shed? Whose DNA is that from the semen that was in her vagina and her anus? Whose pubic hair is this? The real killer may have left these. The DNA is in CODIS, the computer system. Maybe someday it will hit on the killer. The fingerprint is in APHIS, the fingerprint computer system. Maybe someday they'll get a lead based on this. But how can the state seriously prosecute a man when they haven't answered these questions? No other forensic evidence links Josh to the crime.
She said Joshua Wade had nothing to do with the death of Della Brown. The trial lasted for about 10 weeks, and the jury needed almost an entire week to deliberate. When they reached their decision, everyone, including Della's mother, entered the courtroom.
Verdict 1. We, the jury, find the defendant Joshua Wade not guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in count 1 of this indictment.
The juror went down the line. Not guilty. Not guilty. Joshua was found not guilty on the most serious charges of murder, manslaughter, sexual assault, and robbery. But...
Verdict 7. We, the jury, find the defendant Joshua Wade guilty of tampering with evidence as charged in count 7 of this indictment.
Without any smoking gun evidence, the jurors had acquitted Joshua of murder, only finding him guilty of tampering with evidence. According to the Anchorage Daily News, one anonymous juror said, "The hardest thing was there was nothing solid that you could put your hands on. No DNA, no fingerprints, no solid evidence. Today, society almost demands something other than just hearsay and a couple of witnesses who may be reliable, maybe not." Joshua returned to court for his sentencing on the tampering with evidence charge on September 4th, 2003. Della's mother, who had sat through the trial and saw horrible photographs of her daughter's body in the shed, was there to honor her memory 3 years after her death. She gave her victim impact statement before Joshua learned his punishment.
Thank you for this chance to speak to the court and to let you know of the great impact this crime has had on me. As we all know, we first came here for a murder trial. The jury came to a verdict I disagree with. So be it. I am learning to live with it. The crime we are then addressing at this sentencing is tampering with evidence. Tampering with evidence. What is described here is not the run-of-the-mill evidence tampering. This was the manipulation and degradation of the physical shell that housed the spirit of my daughter, Della Marie. To know and to make the attempt to come to terms with the fact that someone cared so little for her body after her spirit was gone has been a horror for me, and one that I have no capacity to understand.
The prosecutor told the judge, "It appears that we will not be able to bring Della Brown's killer to justice for the crime of her murder." So the state asked for the maximum sentence for Joshua on the tampering with evidence conviction and for his violation of probation on a weapons charge. Joshua also had a long criminal history, the prosecutor said.
All of the rehabilitative efforts of the juvenile system have failed. Wade's conduct in this case proves that he remains an active menace to this community.
The sentencing lacked any unexpected surprises. The defense attorney was in agreement with the prosecution that Joshua should get the maximum punishment, although she reminded the judge the state had failed to prove the most serious charges against her client.
We respect that verdict, and we ask the community to respect that verdict.
Josh hadn't testified during his trial, but here he seemed to have a lot on his mind. He was angry at the media and the prosecution.
I want to say that from the beginning of my case, I was not given a fair chance because of the media convicted me before I ever stepped foot in the courtroom. 2, the DA making me out to be a racist when I had a best friend that was a native at the time and has given me nothing but problems in jail. 3, that even though 12 people said I was not guilty, everybody thinks I'm guilty because of everything that was put out in the media. So I took this agreement because I didn't want to put myself or my family through any more humiliation, especially myself, because they want to rape my past. When I was a little kid, horrible things happened to me. Counseling for that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but they want to make it seem bad just because I needed help because something bad happened to me. So I want the maximum sentence because I don't want to be humiliated anymore, but I don't agree with it, but that's about the only reason why I'm doing it. The only thing at all with this case that I'm sorry for is that I did not call the police whenever I found that lady's body. And the only person I'm sorry to is her mother. That's it. And the family. But other than that, I'm not sorry for all the hell you guys had to go through for lying and trying to get a conviction on me. The family and you for the inconvenience are the only people that I apologize to for all this. And I just want to say thank you to my jury for being fair. That's it.
The judge accepted the state and the defense's deal. Joshua was getting the maximum sentence. As Joshua Wade was taken from the courtroom in handcuffs, An unidentified woman in the spectator section shouted obscenities at him, wrote a reporter with the Anchorage Daily News. Joshua spent 6.5 years in prison for tampering with evidence for what he did to Della's body. But in the eyes of the court, Joshua Wade was not a murderer. Fast forward to 2007, Anchorage, Alaska. Mindy Schloss seemed like a confident woman who lived life on her own terms. Ambitious, adventurous, outgoing, compassionate, and smart. The 52-year-old Alaskan woman had plenty of friends and a long-term boyfriend. She liked to travel, heading out into Alaskan bush and around the world to explore. At one point, her career as a nurse investigating infectious diseases took her around Alaska. She sometimes slept on gym floors and stayed in villages with no running water or septic systems. Mindy's present job was as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she reportedly had plans for venturing out on her own and starting her own independent practice. She had just signed a lease for office space. In her personal life, she stayed busy. She was social, making plans. She was thoughtful, too. Every year, she went blueberry picking and then presented friends and coworkers with her homemade jam. She was a friend to many, a soulmate to some, according to federal records, and an enemy of no one. It was amazing Mindy lived such a busy and full life because she was also in pain. According to Mindy's best friend, Jerry, Mindy had polycystic kidney disease that seriously affected her health over the last decade. She was in constant pain due to the cysts on her kidneys, and over the last few years, she underwent repetitive surgeries to remove these cysts, Jerry said. He said she often worked with a high level of pain, but she never complained about her own health issues, continuing to work as a nurse practitioner, trying to help others. In the summer of 2007, there was a lot on Mindy's mind as she prepared to open her business, and she was also getting ready to remodel her kitchen. She lived in a modest house with her very old cat, Willie, in a quiet, safe neighborhood. Or at least everyone thought it was safe. Her next-door neighbor could look into Mindy's kitchen from his bedroom window. Her next-door neighbor was angry. He was unhappy with his life. He was broke. He was disgruntled at his current employer after circling through job after job. He was a twice convicted felon, yet somehow he had obtained a gun. Mindy's next-door neighbor was none other than Joshua Wade, who was now 27 years old, out of prison and recently off his probation. He flaunted his gun that he had obtained on July 29, 2007. He reportedly brandished a Glock 45 to his roommates and then alone took pictures in his bedroom with the gun in his hand to show off the red laser sight. According to federal court records, quote, during the week Mindy Schloss was getting her business together, Joshua Wade's life was falling apart. Released from prison, Joshua's return to society wasn't going well. He was a talented tattoo artist, but he wasn't living up to his potential. Instead, he worked mundane jobs. He got into a fight with his bosses at work on August 1st. He left early, saying he was sick. He didn't show up the next day. When he went back to work on August 3rd, they asked him to leave. His attitude was getting him in trouble. That night, a Friday, Joshua partied with his roommates. Mindy, on the other hand, had a big Saturday on her schedule to knock things off her to-do list. She was planning on running errands and meeting a friend for lunch. So late Friday, she worked on her computer and emailed friends. At 1:30 a.m., she logged off. She was most likely going to bed. The intruder came in the dark in the early morning hours. From court records, quote, once inside, Joshua Wade bound Mindy Schloss, rendering her immobile. Joshua left the residence and returned, armed with the loaded Glock 45 and his collection of restraint and gagging devices. Joshua zip-tied her hands, gagged her mouth with the shop rag, and secured the gag with painter's tape wrapped around her head. The government's investigation revealed that Joshua admitted to others that he forced the PIN number out of Mindy in order to use her ATM debit card. Mindy was a captive in the back of her 2000 red Acura Integra as Joshua drove north of Anchorage towards Wasilla, Alaska. Quote, "During the ride out of town, Mindy lay in the back seat of her own vehicle, clothed in only a bathrobe, with her arms and legs bound by zip ties. Joshua ultimately drove Mindy to a wooded, undeveloped cul-de-sac, approximately 1/4 mile off Nick Goose Bay Road. Joshua parked the car in the cul-de-sac and walked Mindy, still bound, off the cul-de-sac into the woods. There, Joshua shot Mindy, execution style, with a single pistol shot to the back of her head from the Glock 45. Mindy never showed up to the Saturday lunch she had scheduled with her friend, a warning sign that something was wrong, since she was punctual and responsible, never one to blow plans off. Joshua drove back to their neighborhood. He parked her car in her garage and went inside Mindy's home. Then he vacuumed and made Mindy's bed to make everything appear normal. Something gold caught his attention, her gold watch. He took it. Joshua already knew how important physical evidence could be. The lack of it had gotten him out of a murder conviction 4 years earlier, after all. He swept his footprints off Mindy's front porch on his way out. He started Mindy's car again and hid it in the airport parking lot several miles away. He tried to wipe away any traces of his crime. At 5 a.m. the next day, a Sunday, Joshua rode up on his bicycle to the ATM inside a bank lobby and stole $500, as much as he could take, from Mindy's account with the PIN number she had given him before she died. He checked the balance in her account. He knew she had $20,000. The ATM was about 3 or 4 blocks away from their neighborhood. He went back about 24 hours later and took out another $500. 5 days after Mindy's murder, investigators found her abandoned car. A DNA test revealed Joshua's DNA on her steering wheel. Meanwhile, Joshua skipped town. Quote, "He left his house for good on August 18th, coming back only to collect his gun, backpack, and a few other belongings mere hours before the Anchorage Police Department arrived with a search warrant. In his haste, Joshua left behind Mindy's gold watch and the 2-tone quilted jacket he wore during the 2 ATM withdrawals. Found in one of the jacket's pockets was the receipt for the $500 withdrawal from Mindy's account taken by Joshua at Credit Union 1 on August 6th. Joshua had told one person he wanted to get out of Anchorage and hide out in the valley because he knew police were looking for him. He was caught and arrested on September 2nd, about a month after Mindy's murder. Somebody had contacted police about where he had been crashing. Investigators interviewed Joshua and told him he had been arrested on 2 counts of bank fraud and aggravated identity theft. The murder charge was coming later. Joshua asked for his attorney. The detective said Mindy hadn't given Joshua permission to use her ATM card. "You guys assume all this?" he asked. "No, we don't assume. We do a little bit more than assume. We actually talked to Mindy, you know," the detective lied. "Huh? What did you just say?" Joshua asked. The detective repeated it. "I said we talked to Mindy." "Are you guys trying to play games with me, man?" Joshua asked. He requested a cigarette. The detective said no. "Okay, well, I want my attorney, dude," he said. And with that, Joshua was again charged with murder. The evidence against Joshua was overwhelming, authorities said. A hair was found in Mindy's home that matched his DNA. A photo at the ATM captured Joshua's image, although the man in the picture was trying to hide by covering his face with a bandana and wearing a hat. That same bandana was later found in Joshua's backpack, along with several store receipts for about $500 worth of clothes and CDs. When investigators found him, Joshua had been wearing the same gold crucifix around his neck as the one in the ATM picture. Bloodhounds also played a role. They were able to trace Joshua's scent, going from the Wells Fargo branch where the ATM transaction had been made, and then back to his front door. Meanwhile, Mindy's body still had not been found. Her boyfriend said he crawled through dumpsters and checked the Cook Inlet bluffs, the beaches, the railroad tracks, the rivers, the woods, anywhere to find her. On September 13th, her body, which had started to decompose, was finally found in the woods. Her remains had also been burned, but investigators could tell she had been shot with a .45 caliber bullet. According to court records, the bullet's casing, found at the scene, was examined and determined to have a Glock firing pin imprint on the casing's primer. The thought of Mindy's body, dumped in the woods, haunted her best friend, who woke up with night terrors. As a nurse, I clearly know what a body would look like after 6 weeks' exposure to the elements, and I couldn't visually get that picture out of my mind, her friend testified. Mindy's loved ones waited 1.5 years for the government to turn over her remains. Then they scattered her ashes in the Mediterranean Sea. The government had lots of ammunition against Joshua. There was physical evidence, forensic evidence, photographic evidence, and testimonial evidence, the majority of which was interconnected and strongly corroborated. Motive, intent, and act were not issues, nor was proof, according to court records. Joshua faced criminal charges in multiple jurisdictions, a murder charge in state court and a carjacking charge in federal court. Alaska has no death penalty, but because Mindy died during the carjacking, Joshua was eligible for the punishment in the federal system, the Anchorage Daily News reported. But he wasn't going to stand trial again. This time, he took a plea deal. And in that plea deal, he admitted to not only killing Mindy Schloss, but also to killing Della Brown by smashing her skull with a rock. U.S. District Judge Ralph Beesline read the charges against the now 29-year-old Joshua Wade during the February 17, 2010 federal court hearing. "All right, Mr. Wade, did you hear all of that?" the judge asked. "Yes, sir," Joshua said. "Is it true?" "Yes, sir." Joshua pleaded guilty. The prosecution wanted life in prison. Here's what the prosecutor said. Joshua Wade stands before this court an admitted multiple murderer. It is beyond question that a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of release is the only sentence that will reflect the seriousness of this crime, ensure protection of the public, and provide deterrence. Rehabilitation is not in the offering. Wade is unpredictable, unrepentant, and violent. Logic would dictate that after the Della Brown trial, Wade might have elected to select a different path. The fact that he chose to kill again, and kill quickly, demonstrates his indifference to human life, his inability to be rehabilitated, and his omnipresent danger to society. It wasn't just Mindy's family who spoke against Joshua at his sentencing. Della's family was there too. They were angry and hurt. Della's sister recalled for the court how a jury had acquitted Joshua of the rape and murder of her sister. They only convicted him with tampering with evidence, she told the judge. That makes me very angry that they did not serve justice. Maybe if they would have served justice, Mindy Schloss would be alive today. Now, with the murder of Mindy, we are reliving the nightmare, and another family has to go through this living hell. Jerry, Mindy's best friend, spoke too. Your Honor, my final statement is that today we have an opportunity to send a very clear message to the public. Although our criminal justice system may appear broken at times, as was demonstrated by the trial for Della Brown, ultimately justice will prevail. We must give a clear message that violence of this level has a lasting impact on many, many lives and is not acceptable in our society. Joshua's attorney, Gilbert Levy, said he wasn't there to make excuses for what his client had done, but he wanted to explain the dysfunctional childhood and trauma Joshua had experienced growing up. He said Joshua's father, a drug dealer, had been violent towards his mother and once stuck a gun in her mouth in front of their children. When Joshua was 5, his father abandoned him. Then, he said between the ages of 5 and 7, Joshua was raped by a group of men at the daycare he was in. It was never reported to the police, and Joshua never got any help or therapy. He also told the court how Joshua had attempted suicide at the age of 10 and was hospitalized for 3 months in a mental hospital. He said that was the year he started using drugs. After his mom couldn't care for him anymore, he went to live with his dad, who was abusive to him. He said at the time of Della's death, Joshua was an extremely angry young man, filled with rage against the world and horribly scarred by his experience as a young child. When he was finished, Joshua then addressed the judge. What he wound up saying was quite shocking to those who heard it. The following is according to court transcripts. It started out with Joshua expressing his displeasure at his attorney for publicly giving his biography of all the abuse. He said he didn't want to blame his childhood for the crimes he committed. He insisted it was his choice to kill the 2 women. He said his mother had loved him growing up and was devastated that he was a murderer. He said he felt like he had disappointed his family his entire life. I take responsibility for everything I've done because I've always been intelligent enough to know right from wrong, Joshua said. And I knew potential consequences for anything I've done, and I disregarded them. I chose to be what I am. I'm not a product of a fucked up childhood or upbringing. I'm the product of one who decided not to overcome the past, and I succumbed to a fate that I created for myself. He acknowledged that his marijuana addiction and a breakup was negatively affecting him. As he accepted responsibility for Della's and Mindy's deaths, Joshua said, "If me pleading guilty gives you guys closure and peace, then I have not made a mistake in what I have done. I've failed in life where freedom is concerned, so I do the only thing I feel is right, and I plead guilty." He vowed to redeem himself. The judge then addressed him, and the judge's words were what you might expect at a sentencing hearing. Judge Beastline voiced support for the victims' families, praised the FBI, the Anchorage Police Department, the U.S. Attorney's Office, as well as Joshua's defense team for their handling of the case. Then he reprimanded Joshua. I suppose that even Joshua Wade deserves some credit for finally admitting his evil deeds. But what an evil thing he has done. What an evil person he became, he said. You've become a heartless, selfish human being, and that's the truth. That doesn't mean you're not redeemable. That doesn't mean it's not over. That means who you've become and what you've done. We know that you are a coward by your attacks. And this is where the sentencing hearing went off the rails. What the judge was saying obviously struck a nerve because Joshua interrupted him there and said, "Don't push it, man." "I'm going to push it," the judge replied. Joshua again said, "Well, don't push it, man." The judge seemed speechless. "First of all, I didn't come in here apologizing to you, man," Joshua said. "Okay," the judge replied. "I don't give a fuck about you," Joshua said. Well, the judge started to speak again, but Joshua again interrupted him. "I'm not here to say I'm sorry to you. saying sorry to the people who I've hurt and my family. I'm not saying I'm sorry to you. So don't sit there and push it, man. So we know you're a coward by the fact that you have killed defenseless women, the judge said. What about the men? Joshua asked. I don't know. What? Tell me about the men you've killed, the judge said. Oh, don't sit there and act like I'm some predator on women, man, Joshua said. I don't know about the men you've killed, the judge replied. I only know about the women, and I know they were defenseless, and I know that's the type of thing cowards do. Those in the courtroom were stunned. Had Joshua killed others? After his outburst, Joshua was silent, and the judge continued on with his remarks. I know that I've tried other murder cases during my career, and I have dealt with some truly bad people who have had horrible and dysfunctional youth, but I have not encountered anyone as mean and as evil and as vile and as degenerate as you have become. So based on what I know, I would have had no difficulty imposing the death sentence had the jury so found. That would not have been my choice or my decision. That would be a decision left up to the jury. But I also recognize the value of finality, and it's time to end this nightmare. And I know that over the course of your life, locked in a cell somewhere, you will die 100 deaths. He then sentenced Joshua to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Joshua was taken to prison. But the story doesn't end there. In 2014, the U.S. Attorney's Office released a statement saying, quote, under the terms of an agreement later reached between Wade and the state and federal law enforcement, Wade agreed to provide information about 3 murders that he claims responsibility for committing. In exchange, prosecutors agreed to transfer Wade from state prison to a maximum security federal prison outside of Alaska to serve his life sentence. According to Joshua's claims, he said he killed John Michael Martin in 1994, which would have made him 14 years old at the time. The victim had been a regular at the Village Inn restaurant and was found dead nearby with a gunshot wound to the head, according to the Anchorage Daily News. Joshua also said he murdered Henry Antuasru, age 30, who had been found dead in the Alaska Budget Motel in Fairview. Both Henry and John shared 2 things in common. They both had had mental health illnesses, and they both left behind people who loved them. The identity of the third man Joshua claimed to have killed is unknown. Joshua said that happened the night of Della Brown's murder, and that the man had been with him in the shed. Joshua said he beat him, put him in the trunk of his car, drove off, and then shot him, according to the Anchorage Daily News. Back to the statement from federal authorities. Quote, law enforcement is in the process of following up on Wade's admissions to determine whether they are truthful and accurate. Law enforcement is not able to further discuss the investigations in light of their being open and active. As of this recording, Joshua Wade has not been charged with any additional murders. He is now 43 years old and remains in prison. And that's all for this episode. As always, I'd love to know what you think. Let us know by joining the conversation on Instagram @CourtJunkie, by tweeting us @CourtJunkiePod, or by emailing us at podcast@courtjunkie.com. This podcast was researched and written by Gabrielle Russon. It's primarily based on publicly available court records, the audio recordings for the trial, and federal court records for the Mindy Schloss case. Archival newspaper articles were also used in the research. If you'd like to hear...
Investigate crimes with Dateline 24/7 and unsolved mysteries. With thousands of free crime movies and TV shows, Pluto TV is the true home of crime. Download the Pluto TV app on all your favorite devices and start streaming true crime on live channels and on demand. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.